Hey, it's Toye Johnson-Vincent here, your no sugarcoating coach. You know it because you're on Speak to Me First podcast show. And I'm telling you, folks, she's back. She's back better than ever. Yes. I'm telling you, I'm talking to a mom, a recording artist, an entrepreneur, but most what's going on and has been going on in her life and her story of resilience is really about her journey with breast cancer. And as most of you know, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we want on this show to bring awareness to you. So let me just start by saying, if you haven't gotten your or scheduled your mammogram, please go out today and do that. I mean, 100%. Don't wait. So what I want to say, where is she from? Well, she's based now out of New Jersey. And of course, I'm a native New Yorker. And you know, I'm not going to hold that against her because she's so awesome. And she'll tell you herself all about her journey. But most of all, she is a resilient, amazing woman and mom. So without further ado, let's get right into it, folks. Yes. Hello, Jadi. Come on in. Let's bring Jadi. Come on in. Let's see Jadi. Right?
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Toy. Thank you for having me back.
You're
This is
welcome.
the
And go
second
ahead
time around.
and speak up as loud as you can. You know
Yes,
how this
ma'am.
we want to hear you. Yeah. Don't use
Yes.
that inside voice. Not today.
Okay.
Give me that Jersey thing.
Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2.
That's right. Raise your voice.
Yes.
Yeah, with welcome you back. Welcome back to Speak to Me First podcast show. You know we're always on a timer around here, so we're gonna get right into it. I'm thanking you so much for coming back. I know we spoke sometime, I believe it was last year, as a matter of fact, because now I had my 1 year plus anniversary for the podcast show.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, yes, thank you. And I thought of you, although I know many people, many women in particular who have, gone through the challenges and triumphs of breast cancer. And of course, it's highlighted during this month. But I believe we should highlight it every month. There's so many different ailments, chronic diseases, some things that we have cures from, others we don't. Whatever it is, it affects all of us because breast cancer does not just affect the person that has, but also the families that are around them and friends that they love and, loving back. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Tell the audience, number one, you're now based out of New Jersey. I believe that's your hometown.
Yes, I am based out of New Jersey. I was born and raised in Jersey, Newark, Jersey. So I'm back in Jersey and working like crazy.
Excellent, excellent. And we know you, I know I did some research and you've released a single. I know you had been working on it for a while, but you released it. So just in case people can't hear, just go ahead and shout it out. What is the name of the single? When can they hear it, or can they hear it now, and where?
It actually dropped Friday. It's called Fire, F-I-Y-A, F-I-Y-A by JadiLuc, myself. And you can catch it on all digital platforms, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, Tidal, and all digital platforms. So yeah, definitely, if you love that feel good, you like to dance hall, Latin vibe, that's your that's your vibe. That's the vibe.
That's the vibe. And I'm going to see if I can. Not sure if I can, but I'm going to try. I saw that somewhere. Let's see. All right. So hopefully you guys, you can see what I'm going to, or hear. Let's see if we can play it. You can hear it?
I can't hear it.
Maybe the very catchy. Yes. How about that?
No.
Can you hear it?
I don't hear it.
Okay. Well, I certainly did. Well, but you did you see my screen share, everybody? Did you see that? Well, that was on YouTube and it was playing in the background, fire, fire. So yeah, I was hopeful that we had that cover sheet so we could see it, but you did, you know, you didn't see the cover at all. You did saw enough. Oh, all right, let's see this. Can you see that?
Yes, definitely.
You can see your picture.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Hey, what a picture, folks. Just think
Thank
about this for a minute, you know? Yeah, she wakes up like this. How about that?
you. If I don't take the makeup off, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, you're all right. You're all right. So, bottom line is, I wanted to give them a little sample of that. You know, you have a journey. You're still on it because it's somewhere in the back of our minds, our families, the person that's going through it. And I, you know, personally had lost a best friend to this, you know, breast cancer specifically, and perhaps even metastatic, which is a whole different, you know, thing of how the body works, how things move around in the body. But I also know you were on a health, you know, kick as well, because you know, you did share some of the things you were doing over the past year with your health in terms of eating and healthy and just keeping everything right physically, mentally, emotionally. That's a lot. Can you tell the audience, you know, what has brought you through this journey and what was it like just hearing the word, you know, and ultimately going through your, obviously you are a breast cancer survivor, and, you know, really just tell us what some of that was like, if you can
Well,
capture that.
thank you, Toy. I would be, it'd be an honor to. I honestly didn't have time to think about anything because I was hit with double news back to back within a month. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I actually, before I went in for my diagnosis, I found lumps on my neck. There's a few lumps. So I went into the hospital and I was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer, which was anywhere in my lymph nodes, I had tumors spread out. Then I started feeling really sick, nauseous, throwing up. I hadn't begun treatment yet. So, you know, I started figuring out, okay, what's going on? So I was then told that I was pregnant. I was about 3 months pregnant, almost 4 months in. And then at that point, the doctor said, well, if you'd like to continue with treatment and you know, go through chemo, you have to get an abortion. That was not an option for me. I honestly knew that my son was going to be all right. I was going to fight through it, and if I had to risk my life for him, then I was going to do that, and I did that. I have to say that we both are cancer survivors because he survived through it all. He actually survived it all the way into 6 months. My water broke. I was in the hospital for a month. They had to literally, you know, keep him in there, and he fought through. I have to say, 7 months, I delivered him naturally, and then I almost waited too late to go to treatment. I was in such in heaven and having him that I almost waited too late. So I was given a month to live, and at that point, there was no slowing down. I had to fight through. It was almost a year into treatment, every day, month of radiation, chemotherapy for 8 months. And then I was well into cancer remission. So here we are. I'm 12 years now into remission. My son is now 13 years old.
Wow.
And I have to say, the doctors, I remember they said he was going to be, and this was the doctor's word, oh, you're good, he's going to be retarded. No, he is actually very intelligent, and thank God he is amazing. And along with that, you know, I have to say that there's never any, you know, you gotta prep for anything. No, you honestly, once you're diagnosed, and I have to share my mistake on what I did, you know, prior to all of this, was that I literally did not get any checkups. I did not watch my health. I did not watch these things that, you know, we should be on a daily as women, and as men. Watch the food we eat, the sugar intake, the processed foods. I say if you didn't make it, don't eat it. But honestly, a lot of us like to eat out, but it's just a matter of watching what we eat, and I strongly suggest to detox and cleanse, because it's hard for us on a day-to-day to not eat certain foods, or eat certain things, but we can be mindful of detoxing and cleansing our bodies of any waste of anything that it enters our bodies. So
Yeah.
I guess that's my way of sharing some type of prevention,
Yes, yes,
you
and
know.
we need more prevention as we talk about it. But first of all, I'm sure by now, not that he or she would have deserved any phone call from you, but it would be amazing had that same doctor that said those words to you, which was not very kind, by the way. Number one, that particular word is very offensive to community. We're talking challenges, but we don't say the word, and I won't even repeat it. But at any rate, and so again, but you made a choice for you and your body, and in your faith and everything, and you had your son, so a beautiful son, which I believe you said was 13.
13
13. Now
years
you have
old,
a teenager.
and
Wow.
he's tall.
Okay.
Yes.
You survived. You survived cancer, and now with the 13-year-old. Happy to you, and we are so excited that you're here and you can talk about it now. And of course, it's from an emotional standpoint. There may be many people we know. I was doing just a little bit of research, like looking at it, from the good old Google standpoint and all the medical journals and things like that. But it's out there on Google, and I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, you hear it all of the time that people are being diagnosed, more women each and every day. But what people don't understand is that it affects men as well as women. But of course, us more, women more. And not only that, but depending on your particular background, family history, from a racial perspective, what your race is, me being African American, it affects me even more in a different type of way, meaning can be more aggressive forms of breast cancer. So it's very important to get that screening. Whomever's listening to this, and this is global, I'm thanking my global audience today, who right now we're in 13 countries, wherever you are. And if you can, schedule that mammogram, because what they're saying is that perhaps can be the next step to hopefully save your life, and if not extend it. So that's really important. And I myself, having you on this program today, I said, you know what? Whoa, hold on. Let me look. We're looking at our calendars all day. There's so many people like yourself, recording artist, mom, entrepreneur, all of that, marketing, promotion person working, just working daily. We forget. After COVID, many of us didn't go, right? They canceled. What would you say to that woman who says, well, you know what? I canceled it and it was COVID. I guess since it's been that long, I can wait. What would you say? A couple of words, what would you say to them?
you know it's tough to honestly tell someone to do something,
Right.
but I can only share with you that, just like your sister who passed away, and I also have been
Well,
hit.
actually, no, my best friend passed away
your,
from,
your best
yeah,
friend.
my best friend, yes,
Yes,
passed away.
she
We were
passed
like
away.
selected. Yeah.
There's nothing honestly that we can say
Mhm.
to really knock someone in the head to say, hey, listen, I had someone that passed on, or I went through it. But
Mm.
every day, think about, you know, think about your health. Think about where now, remember, we're coming from a time where now we're facing COVID. We're facing now, it's a high rise of cancer now. More than in this year alone, there has been, and I've researched, there has been more than 80,000 women being diagnosed with cancer. And I mean all forms of cancer.
Mhm.
Women that are going through heavy blood clotting, and why wait? Why wait when we're faced with something or when we're feeling something? Let's practice prevention. Let's prevent that. A lot of us have, obviously, because of the times, and it's stressful. Yes, it's a lot of times that are stressful, but what could be more stressful is not knowing what's going on with your body, and then finding out when you're finally hit with the diagnosis. And I mean any diagnosis, and because we're touching on breast cancer, but it's so many different cancers now that are on the rise. Ovarian, women are going through pancreatic cancer. I mean, I can go on, but
Yes.
I consider a lot of women now, like even, after having their babies, that I've also find out that considering breastfeeding when you're, after having your child can actually be a preventative measure as well, not just for yourself, but your child as well. Maintaining a healthy weight. I'm just sharing some tips because it's, it's hard. I know that from a day to day as women, we tend to even forget to drink water. A lot of us, we might drink a bottle of water a day, but it's very important to get that water intake in to flush out these things that are going into our body. Even if we drink some wine, limit the alcohol, because the alcohol, and I kid you not, wine is high in sulfate, and the sulfate in the wine is what's giving a lot of us women breast cancer, believe it or not. So if you have a glass of wine, have a glass of water between, you know what I mean? Just
Mix
I'm
it up.
just, sharing these preventive measures because a lot of us do. Hey, we have, it's a stressful time. We might need a glass of wine, and that's okay. But, drink that glass of water between, those glasses, or maybe after, eating a healthy diet. I don't like to say the word diet, because I'd like to say, create a new lifestyle. What's your new lifestyle? Well, I started eating my greens. Get more of those greens in. Get those red fruits, red vegetables in. That brings up it's also preventative,
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
your vitamins, especially your vitamin D. And I don't mean just on a capsule. Get out there in that sun, lay out in the sun. They say that the sun is bad for us. It's actually the opposite. The sun heals you. I have been through some serious I'm away from the sun, but if I could get some sun in, I'm gonna do it, because a lot of us live in the city, so it's kind of hard
Yeah,
to.
it's kind of hard to, but
Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, I understand because again, you did reside, formerly a resident of Florida, so of course you had more sun, and vitamin D is all of that is
yeah,
important. When we think about things, and when we mention the word diet, it kind of throws people off anyway. If you say diet, nobody wants to do it.
yeah.
And most people who say they are dieting said, well, it didn't work, and blase and blase. So now you just have to find a healthy way, or nutritionist, I think, may be the better part, better way to listen. I didn't listen to a doctor either, and they say, oh, go to a nutritionist. Okay. So again, but it will depend on capital YOU. It's your body. You do what you want to do in your time. But yeah, I definitely would advocate, at least, if you don't want to listen to anybody else, a particular doctor, then maybe try a nutritionist for anyone, no matter what your age is, because this cancer, it's affecting a lot of people. COVID, to stress. So now you have other issues because stress and anxiety, and and then they say a lot of people with a lot of weight around the stomach area is not too good either. And I learned that the hard way. But as a diabetic type 2, so I'm aware. I think what's more important is making men and women become more aware of their bodies, but particularly women, we need to just say, and we're pretty good usually about going to doctors and everything, but sometimes it's scary. We don't want to know. We can look at something and say, oh, it's just a rash, it'll go away. Maybe not. If you have a particular mole anywhere on your body, you might want to get that checked out for sure. Let somebody say, in the medical field that it's okay, because there's people who have moles that they do not remove for a reason. So it's just that you are aware that you see something, you know how they used to say, see, you see something, say something, whatever. Well, say something to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the doctor or tell somebody, a family, a friend, and maybe they'll go with you if you have the fear of whatever may be going on. You have to confide in someone. So I thank you, because you threw out some really good tips, especially from a health or healthier lifestyle in terms of food and intake is very important. I'm sure everything has changed for you
Yeah.
over the years. You're thinking, 4 and 5 ways, and well, I used to sit down and eat all of that stuff. And now I'm doing this. So I say do what works for you. And as long as you are on top of your game and you
Mm.
have a heightened sense of awareness, and that's what we love to talk about. I love to talk about resilience. So we're going to move into a different thing because we're broadcast, we're always on a timer. So we're going to kind of move into a different area. Um, you know, do you consider yourself resilient?
I do. I do because, I even a few years back, I literally, and I'm sharing something that I haven't shared with anyone yet. I had to get a partial
Let me
hysterectomy.
just stop you. Let me stop you before you say that. It is global, and it is a public broadcast. So
Okay.
if you said you hadn't shared with anyone, and that if that means including your family and whomever, do you want to do that on this platform?
Yes, that's why I'm saying it.
Okay,
Yes,
now we
yes.
got that clear. It is
I
the
no, I'm trust me, I'm on notes. Like no, I wouldn't say anything that, I wouldn't be comfortable with. And there's a
okay. Go,
reason why
right
I'm
ahead. Go
sharing.
right ahead.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm comfortable with that.
All right.
And the reason why I share this is because I literally had two cysts it was between my uterus and my cervix. And what happens is that a lot of us women, we go through pelvic pain and pain down, and
Yes.
in that area, and we might think that it's something else, and we might ignore it. So
Mhm.
screenings also, for ovarian, not just cancer, but just making sure that we get our pap smears done, along with, and I was going to say, our mammograms as well, just getting screened. Because had I waited, these two particular cysts were growing already, and they were already going into where I could have relapsed. So that's where I was getting that. It's very easy to say, oh, it's this, it's that, but and ignore it. But when we do that, we're actually not helping ourselves. So if we can not ignore even the smallest signs,
Mm.
in our body, because our body will your body will speak to you. So just being aware, practicing awareness in
Yes.
ourselves as
Yeah,
women.
and thank you for saying that and sharing that, because it's especially when we're talking about hysterectomy, it's a very personal thing. It's something that many women will have to do it. They weren't planning on doing it. They didn't even know
No.
something happened in their life, not cancer necessarily. That may be towards the extreme part of everything, but whatever it is, it's still it kind of stops you in your tracks. So it's just that, it's almost like that word. We just, no, we don't talk about it. So leave it alone.
Hmm.
But no, when you're going to your annual GYN exam, and again, depending on your family history, people might say, or medical professionals may suggest that you go earlier than most. Maybe your mammogram starts before you're 40 or before you're 50, because now they're doing colon cancer screenings, right? Before, now they say, no, it used to be 50, but no, we're saying, no, let's try 40 now. Some people say, well, but if it's a family history of that particular type, then maybe you need to go even earlier than that. So every single person that's listening to this broadcast, in no way, shape, or form, neither one of us are medical professionals or licensed, certified in any profession, whether it's allied health or not. I know I'm certainly am not, but what we are saying today on Speak to Me First podcast show is listen to JadiLuc's story. Listen to the resilience in her voice and in the by the way she's living her life now. We all make mistakes. We eat junk food. We loved it. I loved it. I grew up with junk food. I just love junk food. And I'm based out in New York. There's a, every corner has a store in Brooklyn where I grew up. So I was looking for the soda. I was looking for the soda with sugar. I don't know what diet soda was. I didn't know then, and I don't like it now. But now I understand that if I'm going to drink a soda now, unless my blood sugar is really low, not have a soda with sugar in it. And then there are ways around that you can water it down too. So there's so many different
Mm.
alternatives, but again, check with your medical professionals, because with JadiLuc, I'm hearing you saying you do have that story of resilience. Your son he's 13 now. All that you've been through, many times maybe you were just tired. You just couldn't even be yourself as the best mom you wanted to be. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to touch on that, if you don't mind. Raising your son, knowing all that you've gone through, how do I know you have to protect him because would be your little one who's no longer little, but he's your baby, right? And so, protecting, I mean, going through all of that, how did you just get that courage to really make sure your son kind of know what was going on? Maybe not all of what's going on, depending on his age at the time, but how did you actually come through that and really sitting down with your son or with your family?
It was tough because there were days that, especially when I was going through radiation, that I couldn't even hold him because
Hmm.
when you're going undergoing extensive treatment like that, I was going through it every day.
Hmm.
So there were times that I couldn't even hold him for a whole month. And he was about 6 to 7 months because like I said, I almost waited too late to start the treatment. So when I finally did that time, I thank God my mom, my mother, and his dad, he helped me through it. It just took such a weight on everyone because when you're not just you're affected by cancer, but everyone around you is. And I have to say, because he was so little, he really didn't, get, affected by it, but he was what made me stronger every day. Even at times that I couldn't get out of bed and I was throwing up and all over the place, he was my power.
Yeah.
If I would say he's my light. And even still, even these days, going back into this hustle and bustle, now, really getting into work mode, and he keeps me grounded, believe it or not. And he's actually, I'm more up and going, and he's very chill. So he, even at little, like, he just has this old soul. So
Yeah. It's
it
good.
he's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you're beaming right now. You're beaming. You can go ahead and shout it to the rooftops. You're a survivor and you are resilient. And I just respect the fact that you came on this show to share that, and I'm happy. I know we first you were a previous guest, and we were talking about that, and we did touch on obviously about your background as a cancer survivor, but we did talk a lot more too about your recording side. And so we want to definitely let people know how they can get your single that you finally got it out there and where they can purchase it. We're going to do all of that in a minute. Um, my next question before we go turn that right back over more into the music side, because, I'm just wondering, when you were going through all that, being a musician or recording artist, did you listen to your own music? Because you have that upbeat kind of music, or did you just kind of, was music like, you know what, it's not my friend anymore? Were you just that down and you didn't do anything, or did you listen to music at all?
Well, that's a good question. I actually turned my attention to jazz, listening to smooth jazz. That is what got me through, because music and overall just music, I love a mix of genre of music, but smooth jazz is what got me through the moments, and even still, like, just to kind of keep me, just to, because it was so much going on, and through treatment, I tell you, the medicine itself makes you crazy, like literally, but smooth jazz had kept me going. But I'm such a music, I have such a mix of music genres that I listen to. So that I can say that that's where I finally led up to this point, musically. But I actually had to put everything on hold. But just a taste of all types of music, salsa, merengue, when I was feeling upbeat, when I could. But honestly, what really kept me grounded was smooth jazz through it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, it's amazing how music, because even myself, I was in a singing group in high school just before we graduated. And all I wanted to do was two things in New York: play handball, and then I'm going to rehearsal. And eventually, as a four girls group called the Quadraphonics, we just lost a member recently, unfortunately, out of Brooklyn. But, and then eventually we meshed with a band. So then the music was live. And as I think now, it's very rare that in my house that you don't hear music. I don't need the TV. I just need the music. The TV can be on, the sound is down, but the music is going. And I'm gonna take it all the way back, all the way, all the genres, just take it all the way back in terms of the years. So, I wanted to just find out, because I was kind of curious. I'm like, well, I know she's got fire, and you can do a lot of reggaeton, and I mean, you speak Spanish fluently and all of that. Spanish and English, everything fluent. It's got to be amazing. But that's your love, and I'm thinking, as an artist, how did you come out of that? Would you say, one day you wake up and say, I'm just not feeling great. I don't care what's playing. I don't want to hear anything. Maybe you
Yeah.
had that kind of day. I don't want to hear anything. I just want to live.
Yes. And those were a lot of those days. I actually, there was times that I honestly, I got to a point that just stopped watching TV. I stopped watching movies. I couldn't, because I just honestly couldn't put my attention to anything but just, fighting to live, and my son, and making sure that, also helping my mom, because I would also see the weight on everything, on her. But what I literally had to tune myself out of, just even phones. Like, I had to really just focus on myself and my son, and that was it.
That was it. Wow. Sometimes, and you said the word, interestingly, focus. And we focus on so many things and so many people, our families, our friends, but we as women tend to not focus on us. A lot of times we make ourselves secondary. And from time to time, there's really nothing wrong with that. We love our families. You love your children. You want them to have the best, or our spouse or significant other, whomever may be in your life. But I just find, if you don't take care of you, capital YOU, you'll hear all of my things out there. I'm the hashtag no sugarcoating coach. Most people know that, not only a podcast host, but I also coach people. I'm a life skills, a life certified life coach, essentially. And I think about it too. I have to really tell myself, stop, wait a minute, do what you need to do for you. You don't need to call
Mhm.
that person back right now. You don't need to answer that email right now. You need go ahead and schedule your doctor's appointments. This is a very good time of the year. Maybe you'll agree, is that especially when insurances purposes, they'll build up, like, squirrels with nuts. They'll just build everything up and go to every appointment that they didn't do all year.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can't get that appointment. Trying to meet your deductible, or you've met the deductible, and now you can get most of your appointments for free or very little cost, co-pays, and etc. But the most important things, like our mammograms, our screenings, colon,
Mhm.
uh, you just colonoscopy. We don't do it. And again, for people who are listening to your story, And just listening in general of, surviving cancer, most, or I should say a lot is preventative, but sometimes we are just dealt that hand where our family members had something going on. And that means we have to just step up our game, no matter what age, and say, you don't have to wait for your doctor to tell you to get screened for anything. You go in and say, my family, this is what I know. I don't need to tell you their names. I just need to tell you what I believe I've heard. You know how a lot of times when you're younger, you're sitting around and you can say, oh, I didn't know Auntie so-and-so said something about her knee or her head hurt or her hand or something.
Mhm.
You say, wow, she used to always complain about that. That's history sitting there, and going into have you seen that? You go into the doctor's office and they ask you all these questions about your family history. You're like,
Mm.
let me see. I don't really know exactly, but I think Auntie so and so, she used to do this, or Uncle so and so used to always complain about a certain part. And we're like, okay, well, whatever you think it is, put it down.
That's
Let them
right.
know. And say, well, maybe one, you don't want to get over screened for things. That's not the way. But at least if you have a clue. And by the way, it's holiday time coming up. When you're sitting at that dinner table, would you say, JadiLuc, start asking people, in some kind of easy, something kind of way, just say, hey, look, this is what I've gone through. I just want to know, should I get any more tests, done based on family history? Ask the grandmothers, the great grandmothers, the aunties, the uncles, on both sides, maternal and paternal.
Especially our elders, our, like you said, our aunts. And because it's important. I lost my grandfather 3 years ago, and he was going through it with his liver, and and his kidneys, and he was going. I remember he was taking me to my treatment sometimes when I couldn't drive, and I would drive him to dialysis, but he wouldn't tell me that he was going through dialysis. I thought that it was, the hospital. He was going through some checkups, and then later on I learned that he was receiving dialysis. So it's important to, even if it's uncomfortable, but you know what, at least you find out, and and you can,
Mhm.
at least you know have an idea. You know what, then maybe I should start, checking this. But I
Mhm.
have to say that we are our first doctors. We are our healers. We can heal ourselves. We have the
Yeah.
power to heal ourselves, but we have to listen to our body. Our body's going to tell us. Your body will tell you, but
Yes.
it's up to you to listen, or to pay attention. And
Yes.
that's the part, because we can't always rely on our doctors. We got to take care of ourselves, and
Mhm.
that's important.
Yeah, very important. And you said it a lot of times. And I know I had a couple of stats down here too, and I was looking at this. Now, what I saw online, before we wrap this up, I want to definitely get to your recording artist so people know how to get your music, because you're an awesome recording artist and people need to know that. Uh,
Thanks, Toye.
approximately 290,560 new expected, I'm going to emphasis new, NEW, new expected cases in the United States to be diagnosed with breast cancer. Not broken down into any particular race or anything, because we already know that, again, me being African American woman, I already know I may not, it may not fit into a different category than, or I may fit into a different category than you, etc. But what I understand is still that, African American women had different forms or more aggressive. So it's really super,
True.
super important. I cannot emphasize this enough. You can have the same type of cancer or something similar, but the aggressiveness and how it works through the body um, is very, very, very different. So anyway, and that's what happens when you have a 13-year-old in the house. Somebody's going to do something in the background. So, but anyway, and then secondly, was prostate cancer. That was followed by prostate cancer and lung cancer. And then, of course, they
Wow.
mentioned colon and rectal cancer, which is usually they combine that, because you can have colon cancer and rectal cancer can be separate. And so they say colorectal, so make sure you're just getting screenings in that cases. But the numbers are staggering. Mortality rate 40% higher amongst Black women, than non-Hispanic women. It's just, there are numbers all over the place. You can go to cancer.org and American Cancer Association Society, all of those things to get more information. Again, on this show, we're going to come correct. We know neither myself or my guest, at least this particular guest, we're not medical professionals. This is only an opinion or story and something that happened in real time to either one of us. I talk a lot about diabetes type 2. I say, go get your sugars checked. When you go to the doctor, get those annual checkups. This is the time of year. If you met that deductible, just throw them all in,
Yes, get it in before
get them
the end of
all
the
in, get them
year.
all in. If that means you're
Absolutely.
working late, or you have to, if it's not going to be on your lunchtime and you don't go near, set that up with your employer so that you understand, you just need to get it done. No more delays. We're not going to
No,
blame everything on, not COVID, not now.
no.
We're going to say, nope, we're going to get in there. Now, the appointments, because of COVID, they're stacked. But
Yes.
please go and get that mammogram. So I wanted to thank you for talking so much about that today, and hopefully some of my stats, even if you didn't know it yourself, you heard it here, right? Let's
Absolutely.
just talk briefly before we close. Okay, we have a few minutes to do that. Talk about some of the happiest times also in your life about recording, being a recording artist, both in
I
English and Spanish.
I 2020 was really a time where a lot of us just kind of was in our own space, and 2020 was a time where I really opened up and started writing in Spanish, and just kind of just was going through emotional time, and still am. And that's how the birth of my first album, it's called Emotional Album, and I dropped the first single, which is called Fire Fire. The whole album is a roller coaster ride of emotions. It actually takes you through Spanish and English, dance hall, Afro beats. These are all music genres that I love, Latin and dance, and some feel good music. I've always been a big fan of Tina Marie and that whole genre. So I also have a feel good track as well on that album. But most importantly, it was a big time in my life where right now I'm going through a big transition emotionally in my personal life. So this is what came out of that in the making of Emotional Album. So the first song is Fire Fire, and I also released the remix version, which is in a dance hall kind of vibe. So I kind of stepped out of my own element, but gave it raw, basically.
Yes. Yeah, and you were recently, are you going to be at an event in Jersey or something? There's a venue, or has that happened already for anybody,
Yes.
especially if you're in the Jersey area?
Yeah, no, actually that's next Friday, October 15th.
Mhm.
Hot 97 is actually the platform that we're performing for, and Hot 97 DJs. So it's gonna be a fun event. It'll be in Elizabeth, New Jersey at P2K Lounge. It's October 15th, 10 p.m. So it's
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I hope the parking is good on that one, because everybody's
Uh,
gonna want to come.
and Elizabeth, so you already know.
And listen, you're right.
Yeah,
That's what I said. I hope the
yeah.
parking is good. Okay, but like,
Definitely.
if people want to fly in and see you, I guess the airport is Newark. Is that the closest?
That'll be Newark Airport. Yep,
At
right
Newark
there.
Airport. Okay, so tell everybody again, it's going to be on next Friday.
Yes, October 15th, next
Mhm.
Friday.
Okay,
Next.
what time is your show? What time are you performing?
Well, it starts at 10 p.m.
Mhm.
I should be one of the third, fourth artists coming in
Mhm.
um at that at you know at that time.
Excellent. And the name of the venue one more time for those in the back. Let's shout it out.
That's P2K Lounge in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
All right, great, great, great. Well, I'm going to tease you because I said, okay, so you're a New Jersey native. Not a New York native. I won't go that far.
Uh-huh. Well, we're right across the bridge.
I know, just
You're
one of those.
Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, born in Queens and
Yes.
raised in Brooklyn. So I represent both. I got Jamaica, Hollis area. You heard of LL Cool J, right? So,
Oh, my,
okay,
yes.
when you're
And my
talking,
favorite,
Hollis,
Biggie. Biggie's
yeah,
from Brooklyn too, so.
yeah, he was from Brooklyn. And yep, but I'm in the Crown Heights area of Brooklyn. So, hey, we know a lot with the Caribbean Festival every year.
Yes.
All of the radio stations. One of my favorite radio stations was BLS. I still
Oh,
listen to
yes.
WBLS. I still listen to it live. And I just love all types of music. As I said, being in the singing group, that never leaves you. I was doing that, I was singing from like 10 years old from church.
Oh,
And
boy.
then I spilled into that R&B group, and we made up all the steps and did talent shows and block parties, all of that throughout the different sections of Brooklyn, including Brownsville, East New York, Crown Heights, where I'm actually was raised, and beyond. Yes. So, it's amazing. It's because we just have a couple more minutes. Um, what actually started you in the music business? What gave you that
Well,
spark to do that?
music has been in my family since little. Like for the holidays, like we all get together. I was telling my cousins play guitar, we play drums. I mean, not professionally, but as a family, it's always been in our blood. So since little. So, but when I really took it serious was honestly after I went through cancer. I then, I said, you know what, I then took it seriously and took it to the next level. My first release was called Tonight. It was a feel good song. It's a feel good song, and the featured artist that I did the song with was from Ghana, Africa. So I get a lot of love from Africa on my music, and it's been a great ride and still going through it. My music was produced by the Flight Monkey, so those are my new sounds, and still growing as an artist. I honestly, I can't say I'm just one genre. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. I'm Latin because I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, wow. Well, perhaps all of that international global travel is in your future. Keep your name out there. You know how people say, hey, keep my name out of your mouth. Well, no, 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 folks. Listen, to my international listeners, check her out. JadiLuc. That's what I always love to say your name. And then I forgot to say hola, ¿cómo está? When you came on in the beginning, which we're almost in
You got
closing,
it.
but I just like to say it anyway.
You
You
got
know,
it. You got it.
then bien,
Dice,
gracias.
"Huepa!"
Yes,
Dígame,
yes.
That's all good. That's
Well,
like that's a holler, like, hey girl. So
yes,
yeah.
okay. Yes, I'll be learning all that. But I actually took almost at least 10 years of Spanish, so through school. So
Oh, okay.
yes, yes.
Then you
And
probably could speak it better than me. Oh,
my stepfather spoke fluent Spanish in New York.
oh,
Yes.
then yeah.
So
No.
there we go. So, you learn a lot. I love it to learn different cultures. Grew up a couple of years in the house with someone that spoke fluent Spanish, and of course fluent in English as well. But, I just picked up from there and then studying it in school. So the music and everything, you can't get enough of music. That is so great. You are going to change the world with your message regarding breast cancer, surviving, resilience. There's so many uplifting messages in your story. And I'm thanking you so much for even coming back onto this platform, Speak to Me First podcast show, which it is an international, global recognized show. And I'm getting better and better. And I'm saying, country, come on in, listen to this show. This is what I want to hear from people who have a story. It's not always about them. It may be about the people around them and what made you do or think the way you think, but sharing your message about health. And during this month, particularly is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you are a survivor, but not only from breast cancer, in my opinion. You are a survivor of many things in all areas of your life. You're still here, you're talking about it, And, you know, somebody's going to replay this video when it gets out. So for all of my listeners, you will be able to access this video on Spotify, Anchor FM, Google Cast, wherever you get your podcast show from. And I want to make sure that everyone listening, where can they find or purchase your music or learn more about you? What social media platforms?
Social media is at JadiLuc,
You want to say that a little
JADI.
louder so they can hear you.
Yes. So my social media handles, IG, Twitter, Facebook is at JADILUC, JadiLuc. My music you can find on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Again, that's JadiLuc, JADILUC.
Yes. And of course, you're on Facebook and I don't know if you're Twitter and everywhere, YouTube. I know you're there. I played Fire.
TikTok too, but
TikTok. Oh, she's TikTok
yeah,
too.
I'm on
So
TikTok.
that's the only platform so far that I have not looked at. But yeah. So, you know, some things come and go. And I said, well, maybe that's going to go. But nope, nope, it's there. It's
And
there.
it's not.
So, and a lot of different age groups are now going to TikTok, bringing their message. So I'm going to see if I'm going to pull something together and get a whole nother audience. But whoever audience is listening today, we really do thank you so much, JadiLuc, for taking the time out of your busy schedule because it can't be easy, you know, with a teenager and in tow, and also just keeping up with your music. You're also a marketing and promotion professional doing some things right now out of Jersey, working on projects. So that's awesome. I'm glad you may have left Florida, the Sunshine State, but you just brought that sunshine up 95 North. That's all.
Hey.
How about that, right?
Thank you
Yes,
so
yes.
much for having me again.
Yeah,
This is a year in that I remember when you launched your podcast,
yes.
and now
Yeah.
we're a year in. Congratulations. What is
Thank
your
you.
advice
It's actually
for?
over a year now. I launched it last
Yeah,
March.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So
What is your advice for those that are just starting their podcasts, and what made you keep going?
well, first of all, the podcast is because why it's dear and near to me is because I had always been doing you know, a lot of live things on social media, including Facebook, LinkedIn. I would do lives or streaming, etc. Every Tuesday night, called Talking with Toye on Tuesdays on Facebook. And then I realized, okay, I'm just talking and it's talking into air, but that's fine because I had a message of career development, professional, personal development, and growth. And those are the type of topics that I sort of stick with. But I have my own story of resilience, losing my daughter to congenital heart disease in my early 20s. And, you know, she was only a toddler at 2 years old. And again, I am a survivor. What most people do not survive. It is the most traumatic loss, according to medical professionals, the loss of a child. So I said, you know what? I'd love to speak on career development. That fuels me because of my HR background. But I tell people find you know, just find a platform that will work for you to get positive messages out there and you reciprocate. People will come to you. I say as a podcast host, there's many podcasts out there. I may have
Yes.
went with one or two countries at first internationally, and now it's growing. And yes, it is in Africa, and it's you know, parts of Asia and beyond that. So I just recently picked up Finland about a week ago. So countries that I may never ever see in my lifetime. But somebody, even if it's 1% or 2% of people or person, somebody tapped into it. So on from a marketing and promotional standpoint, if that's what you're doing and you're a team of one, keep doing it. Don't give up. You are resilient in all areas of your life. Find something. The worst day you could have is when you do absolutely nothing. That is it. That is it. That's it for
That is
me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That is
And so we're
beautiful.
going to keep women out there. I'm going to tell you, do your mammogram, get your mammograms
Yes,
done, schedule it, call. And by the way, a lot of people who may or may not be able to afford it, there are, agencies, local agencies in your community. Google that, free mammograms, free breast exams. Go and get it done. No more
yes,
excuses. If you need a friend or family member that you fear of going because you think you felt something or a lump or whatever it is, your breast doesn't look right, something is not right, it's off colors and things like that, or areas on the breast, you want to make sure you check that out. That's what I would say.
right.
Would you echo that as well, right? Yeah,
Absolutely. The importance of getting screened,
yes,
and getting your
every,
annual mammograms and,
yes.
and doing our self checks,
Self-exam,
own
yes,
self
yes.
breast exams.
Yep, that's
That's
it.
important for men and women.
Men and women, go get it done. That's our message
Mhm,
today from
mhm.
JadiLuc, mom, recording artist, entrepreneur, yes, promotional, marketing professional. You did your thing today, and I appreciate that. So just go ahead and give me a smile. I'll just try to capture that, our wonderful moment. You ready? Here we go. Yes, people, we are just doing our pictures and photo takes today. Here we go. On three, 1, 2, 3. Yes. All right, got it. So thank you so much, JadiLuc. Where
Thank you,
can people
Toy.
can find you on all social media platforms? Do you have a website that you want to throw out real quick?
Yes, well, everything's on my link tree on my social media and on my bios. You
Okay.
can actually also catch me on unitedmasters.com link
Did you say
backslash
United
travel.
United Masters? Did
United
you say?
Masters. That's
Okay.
basically where I took all my music and put it out through that.
UnitedMasters.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. We are out of time. Is anytime the things start getting juicy and better and good in the conversation, it's time to go. That's what broadcast is all about. I want to really thank my
Excellent.
guest today for joining me. For my listeners out there, today's message is go out and do what you need to do for you and your family. But remember this, the number one person that has to be right on in all areas of their lives is you, capital YOU, you first, and everything else has to come secondary. Because just think of this, folks, if you're not well, you can't help somebody else. I'm going to say it again for those of you in the back, for all of my listeners, international, national, whatever, and whomever will see this and it will be shared globally. Really take care of yourself first, and then you'll be strong enough and you'll have the will to help other people in their lives. That's what we need. We need more people to just be healthy and hopeful that their families will follow your lead. Somebody's got to take the lead. Why not you? That's what I say. And as I say, first of all, if you want to reach out to me, my website is TJV empowers you, the letter u.com. Again, TJV empowers you, the letter u.com. And I'm Coach Toye Johnson-Vincent, your no sugarcoating coach. And as I say when I end all of my broadcasts, success is in your future. Bye for now. Bye, Johnny. We'll talk
Bye,
again.
Toy.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me.
Thank you. Bye now.